are listening to Voice of the Fans Sportscast, brought to you by none other than the voices of the fans.
Oh, Canada.
For Tuesday, the 30th of September, I'm Randy Courret. We are live on YouTube. This is Voice of the Fans Canada. Thank you so much for joining us. Or if you are catching tonight's episode off of your favorite podcast catcher, be sure to like and subscribe to our social media as well at VOF Canada. The wildcard division is in full swing. We have a couple of finals already in the books. And one game is in progress. That game, of course, of major significance to the Toronto Blue Jays. The NFL season is a quarter of the way complete, and we'll examine who has surprised us so far. The NBA season is in 3 weeks, and wondering if that is even on our radar. And how much of a mark did Rory McIlroy leave after the recent Ryder Cup? The Roundtable has assembled as always. He is battling allergies, but I'm sure he'll be able to speak a hell of a lot better than me. Tony Antoniou is here. Tony, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you, buddy?
Doing well. Thank you. Always great to see Neel Katarey. Neel, what's going on?
Good to be back, Randy.
Great to have you back. And his beloved Yankees are, in fact, the team that's playing as we speak, and he is still gracious enough to join us. He is the host of Foursquare Sports on 102.3 KIXP in Washington State, as well the co-host of the Talking Baseball with Sal Angeletti show on 107.7 The Bronx in New Jersey. He is also a man of his word, losing a bet that he has created himself, and hence the Blue Jay background. Matt Siriani is here. Matty, I love the background, my friend.
Oh, Matty, just tell Randy what just happened there.
It's 2-1 Red Sox.
Oh, geez. Okay. So, Matty, your immediate thoughts.
So let me explain what's going on. Randy doesn't even remember this, but I have the memory of a Hawk. So one time I came on Randy's show and I said, if anyone but the Yankees win the division, I will dress up in Blue Jays gear, or the team that wins the division. And Randy, being the awesome man that he is, was like, don't spend your money on Blue Jays gear if you're only gonna wear it for one thing. So he was like, can you just make the Blue Jays your background? And there you go.
Well,
go ahead.
The blue background there matches you. It brings out your eyes, Matty. But you were about to say something.
And I just letting you know, for those who are tuning in, it's $120 to buy a jersey and Blue Jays hat. $120. It's like $85 for a jersey, $35 for a hat. So if you're looking on spending Blue Jays gear for the playoffs, it's going to cost you a pinch, just a pinch.
Mm-hmm. A pinch, and you know what? It's a bigger pinch in Canadian currency as well for Blue Jays gear. Like I saw like divisional Blue Jay hats going for like $60 Canadian. It's around, give or take, 45 American. Yeah, I love my Jays, but I'm not I'm not spending that kind of money. I'll wait till the season's over. But hey, baseball season. I mean, we're in the peak with the playoffs here, and the NFL is in full swing. But I have to say, guys, and Maddie, forgive me because Canada's women's rugby team had an incredible Women's World Cup of Rugby. They made it to the final. They lost to England. And, for the first time, Tony and Neel especially, rugby was on the radar. I mean, I vaguely remember the men's team making the World Cup and had a decent run, but that would have been, give or take, 20, 30 years ago. Tony, Neel, did you guys catch any of the hype at all? Did you tune in for a couple of minutes? Did you even know that the World Cup was happening?
I gotta admit, I did not follow that at all, and nor do I have any inkling of the great achievement that you're describing. I love any Canadian team that does big things, regardless of whether I pay attention or not. The pride factor always, makes me happy. But no, I did not know that.
Ditto. No clue. I think I remember waking up one morning and there was like a, what do you call it? One of those panel shows, and I didn't know what it was for. And
Yeah.
eventually picked up on it. Yeah. So yeah, I had no idea either.
It
But
is surprising. I mean, sorry, Tony,
Neel,
please.
But like Neel, it's a fabulous achievement. Anytime we can be good in as many things as humanly possible as a country is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but there's only so much time in the day to follow everything.
There is only so much time. I mean, with soccer, Tony, of course, being a big soccer fan, Neel, basketball, and Maddie is watching the baseball game as we speak. Tony, I think, has the game on as well. But it is kind of interesting. Rugby being such an intense game, and there is quite a bit of action to it. It just obviously never caught in this country. And Maddie, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm guessing that rugby hasn't gravitated in the U.S. either. But I am kind of curious. Has there been a sporting event? Maddie, I'll start with you. Like beyond the big four, like maybe in a national sense, whether it's an individual or a team sport, that as it was happening, that you got more interested in, maybe whether it's a club or country. Anything jumps to your mind?
Well, there's a couple of examples. Two that really stand out to me is during the Olympics, people get so hyped up over the gymnastics team or gymnastics in general because before Simone Biles retired, U.S. gymnastics, for the women at least, were really highly touted for a long time. And I think they still are, even though Simone Biles is gone. So there's that. Second thing is also an Olympic thing, is the swimming team. How often do we praise people like Michael Phelps in the Olympics, and he breaks record after record after record and wins gold medals almost on a daily in the Olympics? And then there's track. The U.S. for a long time was mediocre at track. Now they're great, and I think that it bodes well for the Olympics in 2028. Although I will think that China has something to say about that, but we're gonna be hosting the Olympics this year in California. That should be fun. But apart from the big four, like I mentioned, swimming, gymnastics, and track. Those are the three things that really stand out in my mind that people pay attention to in some way, shape, or form in the United States.
Yeah, Tony, Neel, I mean, there definitely is a different perspective of international sports in our country compared to Matt's. I mean, of course, the U.S. is so dominant in the majority of sports. And are always a leader, especially in the Summer Olympics, with regards to sports. We do have a different dynamic here in this country. Anything tops, but I mean, it obviously doesn't have to be Canada. But as a tournament starts or a season, is there something that jumps out to you guys that grabbed your attention as the tournament or season went on?
For me, two I think things that I watched over the last few months were captivating. One was the Canelo Crawford big boxing match that just happened recently. Terrence Crawford beating Canelo when he was a big underdog, although both legends, and really cemented himself as like an all-time great, still undefeated. And that was just a great technical fight, and the card itself was unbelievable. There was one fight that was much more entertaining even than the main event, and these two guys, I don't even remember their names, they just were slugging it out like you would see in a Rocky movie times 10. Like it was like a Rocky Clubber Lang type stuff for 12 rounds. It ended in a draw, fittingly, a very fitting draw, unlike this Cowboys and Packers game that just happened, which was also a great game. But so that was one. And then I think tennis is the type of sport where there's so many tennis players, good ones out there. It's a great sport to watch. I really enjoy it. But when you get two legends or future legends, and in this case, Alcaraz and Sinner at the French Open, and they put together a masterpiece final, it's one of the best things that one can watch, in my opinion, from an individual sports standpoint. And I mean, Sinner was up 2-0. He had 3 set points. And Alcaraz came back, won that game, took serve, won that set, and then won the next 2 sets. It was unbelievable. It was like a magnificent comeback, the highlight of probably of his career, I would say. And then I just want to mention that just the other day I was scrolling on social media and I saw, you may remember, former Raptor Sonny Weems.
I remember Sonny Weems, yeah.
And apparently this post was saying that it showed him in a pair of boxing gloves and that he was part of something called the Basketball Fighting Championship. And apparently this is a league where you play one-on-one. It's 12 rounds. You play one-on-one for the first 6 rounds. And in the last 6 rounds, you're allowed 2 boxing call-outs, which means you can, at any point in the game, yell boxing. You literally yell the word boxing, and it becomes a fist fight. And I'm just sitting there going, wait a minute, how do they shoot in boxing gloves? How do they mix the basketball with punching? And I tried looking up videos on YouTube, and I could find nothing. So I think it was just a shit post that I fell for or something, and it just happened to use Weems as the main character in the shit post. Because I'm still wondering, I got to see some Basketball Fighting Championship at this point. I'm looking for it. Anyone got a video? Send it to me because I want it.
Yeah. I could imagine Charles Barkley and Vernon Maxwell would be heavy favorites in that. Tony, how about you?
Well, since you went out of your way to not allow me to say soccer,
I'm sorry, Tony, but I was figuring that I figured that you would say soccer.
there's a couple, I guess. I mean, women's beach volleyball, for obvious reasons, is one that I like to follow closely. And curling, believe it or not,
I was going to ask you about curling.
I'm a curling guy. I love the seasons when both our national championships are going on, the Briar, and I don't know if they call it the Scotties Tournament of Hearts anymore.
I think they still do.
But
Yeah.
do they? Okay, and not to mention the evolution of the women's outfits in curling as well. So that helps. That helps enhance the viewing pleasure. But yeah, and when Canada's in the Olympics, it's one of the sports I watch more than anything during the Winter Olympics. I've always been into it. I still have never tried it.
You never tried it. I was going to ask you that.
I have not. My plan is I have to. I don't know how, but I have to. And I think Matt's gone. What is it? 4-1?
Oh, geez, Maddie.
No, it's commercial break. It's commercial break.
Commercial break. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Maddie will come in.
The women's beach volleyball is not that serious. Not serious, obviously, but curling for sure. Curling is, yeah, I'm a curling guy.
Well, you know what? I did in gym class. We went to a curling rink, and to be a skip, or well, just to Tony, forgive me. Why am I drawing a blank on? Is it Skip who shoots the stone down the ice?
The last guy.
The what?
Well, the guy who shoots last. The skip is the guy who curls last.
Okay, who curls last?
There's-
But I mean to
Yeah.
to
There's the
hoof
lead.
that the
Yeah.
the lead. Okay, because to go in the hack and to hoof that stone down the ice. I mean, that takes skill. Like it is not an easy thing to do. And
After-
I could see that it's maybe fun, but I'm with you. Like when curling in the Olympics is much watch for me.
And it's evolved. These guys are actually in shape. Like the guys and the women too. They're all in shape. They take fitness seriously. I have a great story with Glenn Jacobs and his rink. I think it was just after the 2010 they won the gold. And
Kevin Martin won gold in 2010.
Okay, so Glenn Jacobs was after Turin, I guess. I know there was one year he won. Him and his team won, I believe, because his team was at the Scotiabank Arena watching a Leaf game. It was an invite by MLSC to the Olympians, and these guys were just monsters. They're absolute monsters. Great guys. I got to know them. I spoke a lot with them that night. They were in my box, but just giants. They're monsters. I'm gonna Google that because I'm pretty sure it was one of those years. But yeah, and they're down to earth people too. On top of that, so
Sure. The reason why I knew it was Kevin Martin is because when Canada was playing, I want to say it was Norway, and the Olympics were in Vancouver. The crowd started singing "Oh Canada," and Martin was
Okay.
just trying to focus in on the game. And I actually took a picture with him. He was at the Jays game, and I asked him for a picture. It was like 2011, 2012, and yeah, no, he seemed like a really nice guy. And yeah, as Tony is confirming that curling bit of trivia, for me it's tennis. I have to say, when Andreescu made it to the U.S. Open and won, when you think of Raonic and Eugenie Bouchard going to the Wimbledon final, and Boko winning the Canadian stop here this summer, like Neel said himself, I mean, tennis is a great sport to watch. And with the Olympics as well, when Djokovic won Olympic gold finally for Paris, in Paris for Serbia, that was just incredible. The passion and the desire that Djokovic had winning that gold medal, slamming that forehand against Alcaraz in the gold medal match was just fantastic stuff. So, okay, Tony, so I prevented you from answering a soccer question. Is there something soccer related that you do want to share?
Oh, I'm good. I don't want to bore the audience. I'm all right.
No. You're not boring us at all. Come on now.
No, there's nothing. This is an awesome time to be a soccer fan. If there's Champions League going on, all the domestic leagues are in full swing. MLS is coming down to the end. There's no Toronto FC in it, but still. Brad Jacobs. I said Glenn Jacobs. What an idiot.
Oh,
Yeah, 2014. So it was my bad. 2014.
Okay.
2014, he won the gold medal for Canada. But yeah,
Brad
so it's a fun
Jacobs.
time being soccer. I was watching a Cypriot team against Bayern Munich today. That was my viewing enjoyment. 11,000 strong in Limassol, Cyprus for Bayern Munich's 5-1 win over Pafos FC. So yeah, that's my shit, man. I love it.
Did you ever see a domestic match in Cyprus?
I saw a friendly years ago. It was
a friendly? No way.
Yeah, it was just before the season started, and it was between the two biggest clubs in the country, actually. So,
Oh, okay. Sorry, it wasn't the national team.
but this was 90s. No, I've not seen the national team though.
You know, when I was 9, went to Sri Lanka, saw a rugby match, actually, coincidentally enough, and I didn't know what was going on, but it was intense. Yeah, it is a little surprising that Sri Lanka hasn't put together a good rugby side, but and apparently the cricket team sucks. So hey, well, whatever. What are you going to do? So anyway, guys, back to sports here in North America. And as mentioned, the playoffs are in full swing. I mean, Tarek Skubal had a somewhat mediocre performance, only, 14 strikeouts in a 2-1 win. 14 strikeouts, 2-1 Detroit over Cleveland. And the Cubs took out the Padres in game 1, 3-1. Neel, it's been the Jays have made wild card appearances. They did not do well. Tony and I had a chat about this a couple weeks ago, and the both of us feel a little disconnected from the Jays. We kind of think that maybe it has something to do with there's so many sports and so little time to follow said teams. I also think that the Yankees and the Red Sox do not help, because they're like two of the strongest franchises in North America. What say you? Have you had a disconnect to the Jays since those World Series teams in the 90s?
For sure. They went more than 20 years without even making the playoffs after those World Series, didn't they? And then we had some really, really strong reconnection with the Bautista years, and obviously the bat flip was a seminal moment of Toronto sports history, and I couldn't get over the hump. And then, yeah, like you said, a few wild card round losses in a row, actually, without even picking up like a win in the last 3 series, just sweep. And I went to one of those games against Seattle one of those times. It was horrible. It was a big blowout, that game. But, I think that's the nature of sports, is that, being a diehard can only get you so far. Back when I was in high school and in college and things of that nature, when I had a lot more time to just sit and watch pretty much every game, I felt this connection that regardless of how the team was doing, I was more connected, I would say, for the Raptors right up to the championship. And after that, life goes, becomes busier, becomes a lot of things take up your time, and that's the way it is. But what I do love, though, is that this Jays team completely came out of left field as a huge surprise, huge above expectations team. And it's been a magnificent season to watch. The teamwork, the camaraderie, as I've said on all these recent pods that we've done, the team chemistry, the vibes of this team have just been immaculate, and just so much different than the last several years, since probably 10 years ago, basically. And it's been fantastic, because part of the reason it's been fantastic is because it's been so unexpected. There were no expectations. This is all. The whole season has been icing. We're having our cake and we're going to eat it too. Now, if we get swept again, if the Yankees come to town and things go that way, well, the disconnection may happen real fast for a lot of people. But I think that, we have the chance to do something special. We've put ourselves in position to do that. Home field throughout the AL. And so, I'm here for it, man. And I feel a strong connection to this team because, I've always been here in Toronto supporting the teams. And yes, the Jays have been the team probably of the Toronto teams that I follow or that I'm a fan of, that I've had some disconnection over the years. Not being, I would say, a diehard, but I'm a big fan, and I've been locked in this year, and I plan to be. So whatever the past is past. What's happened has happened. And let's look towards the future, because the future is now.
Well, and nobody was expecting this kind of season. And, Tony, like how many people were calling for John Schneider's head? How many referred to Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins as Shatkins? How many people said that George Springer was a write-off? So many things just happened and led the Jays to the top seed in the American League. And, with everything, with all of the people that I had mentioned, and there's obviously more examples. Who do you think was the difference maker for this team to have the dream season that they've had?
Well, obviously George Springer was massive. I mean, they're talking about him getting some MVP votes, so he had a special season. I cannot speak about this Blue Jay team without mentioning my spirit animal, uh,
You love your spirit animal, don't you?
Alejandro Kirk. You can't you cannot not love a guy like that, especially when we have the same physical features and to see him perform at the level he performs at is inspiring to me without question. And there's some guys who came out of nowhere. A guy like Addison Barger was pretty consistent throughout the year. So and the pitching held up. Gossman had some heroic situations throughout the season, but it's tough to look past George Springer because that seems to be where everybody was surprised how he stayed consistent all year, stayed healthy, most importantly for the most part, and then a guy like Barger picks up the slack when Vladdy wasn't going 100%. Bo Bichette was in and out of the lineup. Barger was in and out of the lineup as well. So those guys deserve special attention for their performances.
Springer especially. I'd be surprised if John Schneider did not get Manager of the Year, but who would have thought that Springer was going to be as consistent as he had been throughout the entire season? Maddie, how you doing over there? Your Yankees are down, but there's still a little baseball left.
Update still 2-1, top of the eighth. But as far as I want to actually emphasize another point that you guys brought about the Blue Jays before. I'm probably going to gas about my Yankees at some point, but
yeah, of course.
This team or the fans were ready to go into a frenzy about the Vlad Guerrero Jr. contract situation. And then Vlad got his money, and then people were at ease now. The Blue Jays started off really horribly for the beginning of the year. The Yankees were dominating through, and then I think it was July or late June where the Blue Jays just surged and the Yankees kind of fell off. Now, Blue Jay fans can breathe a sigh of relief because they had a 7-game lead and they almost blew it. If it weren't for that Boston series, they would have cruised along. But I think the Blue Jays played like they had nothing to lose. And sometimes when you have nothing to lose, you actually perform better. And this is with any sport. And I commend the Blue Jays.
Isn't that sorry to interrupt, Maddie, but isn't that easier said than done? But I mean, sure, maybe you could include the Orioles in that equation, but we don't really see that kind of surprise, do we? I mean, off the top of your head, beyond Baltimore, do you remember a team that had that kind of overwhelming success where they came out of nowhere?
Well, the Nationals in 2019, for sure.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, this was a team that lost Bryce Harper that year, and they went on to win the World Series after starting 1931. So that's one example. Another example this year, and I think it's kind of a cop-out answer, the Mariners of this year were also another team that nobody expected would do this well. They're the 2 seed in the American League. And all you saw was Cal Raleigh hitting dingers. You saw Julio Rodriguez come into his own. They made awesome moves at the deadline, and then boom, they win their first division title in 24 years.
I think
Tony, please.
Sorry, I think the 2003 Florida Marlins team too. They came out of nowhere. They made a managerial change late. Remember, they brought in Grandpa to run the team for the rest of what was his name? The manager. I can't remember his name.
Jack McKeon.
Yeah, he was really old. Yes.
Yeah, he was in his 70s. Yeah. But Ivan Rodriguez was on that team, and he was only there for the 1 year, but he had a fantastic. Josh Beckett was on that team.
Beckett.
Juan Pierre. That Florida team that was pretty decent. I mean, like a decent surprise for sure. Yeah.
And then, as far as teams doing well this year, obviously the Brewers were another example of a team that probably overachieved. There's a certain person of ours that Randy are friends with that would tell you otherwise. Would tell you and agree with us that the Brewers were surprised. But remember, this team lost.
Shout out Lily Schumacher. Shout out Lily Schumacher. Dear friend of the show.
Lily Schumachers. But anyway, the Brewers were another team that people didn't expect them to have the best record in all of baseball after losing William Adames. And then they win 14 in a row, and they're giving out free burgers in Wisconsin. The pitching was really good. They called Jacob Mizurowski. A lot of really good stuff with that team. The Phillies and Dodgers, like you kind of expected them to be successful, especially the Dodgers. But when a team comes out of thin air that hasn't had success in a long time or a certain degree of success, then that makes you feel like, wow, that makes you believe. Also, the Reds were another team this year that also surprised. But then again, maybe not as much because Terry Francona first year with the team, immediate turnaround. They made the playoffs by the skin of their teeth, but that's because of a certain ball club with a $300 million payroll just decided to give up, and that was how the Reds got in. But a lot of people are happy they made it. First playoff appearance since 2016.
Yeah.
I just want to
please, Neel.
No, I just wanted to add to Matt's point, like his point about when you have less to lose, you could play more free.
Yeah.
And in baseball, especially in the playoffs, that's huge. And I think that the less you have less teams that make it, there's just more chance for upsets in baseball. And nothing is guaranteed. Home court or home field, I don't think in baseball means as much as it does in some other sports, personally. Like, for example, look at 2 years ago, you had the 5-seed Rangers against the 6-seed Cardinals. The last 2 seeds there were bottom 2 seeds in each league, and that was a World Series matchup. And then obviously the next year you got the 2 1 seeds, or I think the Dodgers and Yankees were both 1 seeds. If they weren't, they were top 2 anyways.
They were.
So baseball is like that. It's very random, and that should give Blue Jays fans some cause for concern, because the way we kind of sputtered at the end, I'm glad we swept the Rays and kind of put in some good performances there. But we kind of did limp towards the end a little bit, and
Sure.
Home field does not mean anything if you don't got the bats going right, and more importantly in the playoffs, the pitch is going right and the bullpen.
You guys think that the Guardians and the Mariners and oh God, who else am I missing here? The Tigers and the that would be it. Those 3 teams, because I mean, do you think that way too much focus is on Boston and New York, especially because they are Boston and New York? It is a little unfortunate that those 2 teams are facing in the wild card. I mean, I'm sure Major League Baseball would love to see those 2 in the ALCS, but I mean, because reseeding does not happen, and I apologize. I don't even know if reseeding would have been an issue, but you'd have to think that once the Red Sox and the Yankees play that series, they play the Jays. The bottom of that AL playoff tree, it's good. They're going to have there'll be smooth sailing, and they're not really going to have a lot of attention between those 2 series. I don't think I'm far off in saying that.
One thing you really mentioned that's accurate is that lower market teams don't typically do well with viewership as high market teams do. Like, they're hyping up this Yankee Red Sox wild card because it's the rivalry, because it's 2 of the biggest markets in sports. And as successful as the Mariners have been this season, as successful as the Blue Jays have been this season, when they go against the Red Sox, when they go against, let's say, the Tigers or whatever, like, those are not going to be high ratings. That's why people are hoping that the Red Sox or Yankees pull off against the Blue Jays. Honestly, if Boston wins against the Yankees, I'll root for the Blue Jays all the way. But it's just like we saw it in the 2023 World Series, where the Diamondbacks and the Rangers were in the World Series in 2023, but it was one of the lowest viewed World Series in the modern era. And that just goes to show you that branding, name recognition, market value, it doesn't transpire to media success, and that's what the problem is here.
But isn't the problem, Maddie, that these sports leagues just do a bad job in marketing their teams. Like Phoenix and Dallas has to be two of the larger cities in the US.
They are.
I mean, I could appreciate the fact that they are regional teams, the Rangers and the Diamondbacks, but when you have like in the NBA, I mean, I don't know, Neel, correct me if I'm wrong, but San Antonio Spurs had a national appeal. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder has a bit of a national appeal. Golden State have been dormant forever, and then they rifle off all those championships. They have a national appeal, and I think that there is something that these sports leagues can do in terms of hyping up these markets. I mean, hey, could it be possible that we see a Jays and Brewers World Series? And when you have the two best records in baseball or close to it, why not celebrate? I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here, but I mean, I don't want to see, with respect to you, Maddie, like the storied franchises getting all the allure and attraction while the rest of us are fighting for table scraps.
I think that, in baseball, you saw last year, I mean, the Yankees Dodgers filled with future Hall of Famers, just star power up and down both sides. Back in the day, Lakers Celtics, those type of rivalries, even Cleveland Golden State in the NBA, those were always highly, highly rated series filled with stars. Doesn't matter that it was Cleveland. It doesn't matter that it was the Bay Area, which again is a small market and never historically before Steph Curry came along did that great, I would imagine, viewership wise. So a lot of it has to do, there's three factors here. One is market, but more importantly, I think, market is history of the franchise or of the rivalry in question. But more importantly, the most important is star power. And that's especially true in the NBA. One could say that's very true in the NFL. Hockey, not maybe as much, but still, you got Connor McDavid, in a series that's going to get ratings no matter what. But that's the star power element of it. It's not the Edmonton element of it. It's the Connor McDavid element. And in baseball, the same thing. So, I mean, if Ohtani was playing for the Brewers, guess what? People are tuning into the World Series. Right. If they make it. A lot of it has to do with that. So there's three factors, and I think the biggest, most storied teams of all time had all three elements. You talk about the Jeter Yankees. You talk about even last year's Dodgers. You talk about the Magic Showtime Lakers or the Kobe Shaq Lakers, that type of thing. For maybe not all the right reasons, the Miami Heat with LeBron, Wade, and them guys, and Steph Curry. So I think all three factors have to line up for it to really hit on all cylinders and pull in the biggest ratings. Otherwise, you're going to sequentially step down if you only have one or two of those three factors.
Also, I think, what's the interest level within those markets as well, right? When I think of a place like Arizona, like you talk about, or Florida Marlins, these are fair weather sports fans anyway, like Miami fans and Phoenix. This is just, they're known for retirement places, and well, not Miami, but Phoenix, and just bunch of chilled people in nice hot weather who, we have teams here. They lost the Coyotes already. And is it crazy for me to say that baseball isn't number one in a lot of these markets? I mean, take away the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Cardinals. Help me out with anybody else here. If I'm missing something, I mean, are the Dodgers the number one show in Los Angeles? Really?
Not at all.
Well, maybe could the Cubs be number one in Chicago? Could the Cubs be number one
in Chicago? But I think it's a Bears town.
It's still a Bears town, I think.
Maddie, you think it's a...
You could make a case for the Cubs, but again, that's separated. That's North Chicago, right? South Chicago is the White Sox. So
sure,
Chicago is a Cubs town. Chicago was a Bulls town back in the 90s, but ever since the 90s, it hasn't really been Bulls success ever since the 90s. So It's mainly a Cubs town. The Bears are like second or third fiddle. It's mainly the
Really,
Cubs
you
and then the
think so?
White.
Because I think Tony was onto something. Because maybe Chicago, maybe it's a Bears town because like half the city of Chicago would be cheering for those White Sox, wouldn't you think?
Well, the White Sox are putrid. I don't know how you can cheer
Well,
for
yeah,
them.
sure, but I mean, like, there's a lot of upset Chicago fans. I mean, there's no way that those White Sox fans are going to cheer for the Cubs, even though they're god awful.
But
But I
you know
understand
the
what you're
thing though, and
saying.
this
Yeah.
actually brings me. Sorry, go ahead. This actually
No,
brings
no,
me to an
please, please.
interesting point. Um, so Mets fans and Yankee fans hate each other, except for Jake Cardinelli. He actually respects me. But I know a bunch of Mets fans who, if the Mets are eliminated from the playoffs, they're gonna cheer for the Yankees because you want to know why? It's local stuff. It's a local convenient market to cheer for. Now, obviously, they're not going to go to a Yankee championship parade, but they'll root for them. I know a bunch of Yankee fans who rooted for the Mets in the 2015 World Series.
Really? There is no
Mm-hmm.
chance that I would hope that Montreal would win the Stanley Cup. I would absolutely despise that so much. But I'm a little surprised you said that, Jake. That for the sake of New York, Met fans would cheer for the Yankees and vice versa. That would be surprising because if Toronto, say, got a second hockey team, I've said this before. There's no way I would probably hate the second hockey team more than the Montreal Canadiens. Truly, but yeah, no, Tony, I think you do have a point. Phoenix and Miami especially, just the glitz and glamour of South Beach, and they just don't have that kind of passion. Maybe it is if you had to choose a sport, maybe it'd be the Dolphins in Miami. But I think the problem with Phoenix for hockey, I know we're getting off track here, but if Phoenix had Denver's hockey history with the cup wins and say they had Patrick Waugh and they had Joe Sakic and all that in Phoenix, I mean, I think Phoenix would be doing very, very well. It's a hunch, but maybe let's say that Colorado had the Coyotes history where they made, I think, 1 second round. I think that they would have been the one to move to Salt Lake City, personally.
Yeah, absolutely. The losing has a lot to do with it, and bad ownership.
Sure.
Losing and bad ownership, right? They built the arena in the wrong part of town. It didn't
Yes.
work out. Um, that's how the story goes. And believe it or not, Mr. Bettman's still trying to find ways to get a team back in Phoenix. So go figure. Trying to get a team back in Atlanta too. So go figure. But absolutely, the losing between losing and bad ownership, that's usually the death you know the death
Yeah.
of the franchise. Yes.
Yeah. Because I've been to Phoenix a couple times, and Scottsdale is the place to be. I mean, downtown Phoenix, it's pretty. It's a nice area. That's where the Suns play, and that's where Chase Field is. But it's a ghost town after 5 p.m. And one of my Uber drivers, while I was there, a young kid, and I was like, where's the place to be on a Friday night? And he said Scottsdale. So if Phoenix, if Bettman does put a team back in Arizona, it's got to be in Scottsdale. But anyway, let's get back to baseball. And hey, Maddie, when you and Sal Angeletti came on the show, I didn't really hear a lot of positive things about your Yankees. They are down. You got your eyes peeled to the game. I understand 1,000%. But hey, the Yankees are in the show. I mean, they were in the World Series last year. What the hell's your problem, buddy?
My problem
Anything
is
can
the
happen in
high
the playoffs.
expectations. Yeah, it's the high expectations that come with it. But I think one of the things that makes me really irked up, this hopefully, the Yankees have a tough path. Obviously, they got to face Boston, and then they got to face Toronto if they were to make it past the wild card. And this team had the same win-loss record they did this year as they did last year with Juan Soto. And with the Yankees, it's like there's always the high expectation. Plus, Judge had an MVP caliber season, and the American League is so tough. And you came short of winning the World Series well, you got hammered in the World Series. You want your team to do well, and many sports fans are quick to point out the flaws as opposed to being positive. And I'm the ultimate person who points out to the flaws. And oh my god, drop! But anyway, fly out for Caballero. It's 2-1 at the end of the eighth. But anyway, that's just me. That's an example of just pure negativity. But when it comes to sports fans, we think worst case scenario before we even get to the actual game. And I think it's important for fans to know and realize that you want to win the big one. And there's always this whole, well, we got to do this, we got to do that. Like there's a bunch of obstacles that you got to overcome. And like I said, we point to worst case scenario. That's a therapeutic technique I've learned, by the way. I'm not a therapist, but that's something that I've learned.
But you lose Juan Soto. You lost Garrett Cole. Who else am I missing? I mean, those are two massive pieces, and the fact that they are back in the play
most of the year.
Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, hey, anything can happen in the playoffs. So, like you. But is it just your way of thinking, as all Yankees fans, that worst case scenario, and that it's the best way to think? You're not getting your hopes up. Is that how we're doing it here, Matty?
Kind of. I've been doing that my entire life.
Well, hey, whatever works for you, pal. Neel, obviously being a big Raptor fan as you are, you're getting back into baseball. I have to tell you that actually it was a question I did ask Matt and Sal a little while ago. I mean, do you think that the Jays are taken more seriously than the Raptors in the United States? Because I have to say, now, I mean, the Raptors did have a pretty consistent history. I mean, of course, with the one championship, and ever since then, they've been mediocre, above mediocre. But, throughout those DeMar years, how many playoff appearances in a row? I want to say like close to 10.
8 to 10, yeah.
Yeah, 8 to 10. 8 to 10 playoff appearances. And they made the conference final.
Yeah, they were a top 3
times?
winningest team in the league over the decade. They had the top 3 regular season wins over the decade. It might have been number 1. I'm not sure.
But from the way I see it, is that the Raptors aren't really taken as seriously as the Jays. I mean, I don't know how much of you thought about this, but am I fair off to say that the Jays have a bigger scope in the U.S. than the Raptors?
Well, I mean, I really don't know the answer, but to be honest, the very small degree to which the Raptors are shown on national television in the United States, I have to imagine the Jays have more or more sort of, they have more of that in the United States than the Raptors do, proportional to the size of their season. How many times have I seen the Jays on Fox Sunday Night Football? I don't think I've seen them once on Sunday Night Football or any of those nationally televised games. So I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I know the Raptors are always among the lowest team in the league for nationally televised games. And the only seasons that was different, I recall, was when we had Kawhi Leonard, and then the year after we won the championship. But yeah, other than that, so it's a fair question. I think the answer is probably yes. The Jays do, because I think that the baseball is a little bit less player and storyline driven than the NBA. The NBA puts a lot of focus on that sort of thing, the style over the substance, let's just say. And I think that leads to a lot of decisions about who gets to be on national TV and where the focus is. And so I don't mind. I like it that people were overshadowed. I like that this Raptors team coming up is overshadowed. I think that we're going to surprise some people this year, or at least take a big step forward. And let them focus on us when they think we deserve it. But we'll be here.
Yeah, and we are going to get to the Raptors in a second. Tony, I don't know if you've thought about this either, but do you think that the Jays get more of more attention than the Raptors do south of our border?
Ugh, good question. Maybe they do because of there's more of a history with the Blue Jays, and we have those World Series titles, and we have one of them ending in the fashion that it did. So they
Right.
kind of have to show that highlight reel, the Joe Carter game-winning home run, because it's part of history. So maybe I'm not 100% sure. I think we had some primetime games during the DeMar years too, Neil, when Dwayne Casey was or Casey or Mitchell. I can't remember.
Probably would have been
We
Casey.
we definitely had primetime games when Vince was with the
Sure.
Raptors as
For
well.
sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Some
Yeah.
some US, the US national games for sure we did. But maybe just because the Jays have been around longer, I guess. I'm guessing. But just like Neil, that's a tough one to answer because I have no gauge of that. I have no idea. What do you think?
I think that they do have more of a scope. But to Neil's point, I think that A, because the season's longer, and B, like Major League Baseball doesn't really have those kind of marquee days like Christmas where the Raptors always get the short end of the stick. There was 2019 when they won the championship, when they were defending the championship. Yeah, it was 2019, December 2019. And the time before that was when Vince was on the team. So, and they were one of the most winningest franchises. And Tony, yeah, you have to wonder if the Blue Jays won that second World Series in any other way other than Joe Carter's home run. Like, would they have that kind of mystique? Kawhi Leonard's shot against Philadelphia, I mean, that was pretty extraordinary as well, right? But
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
one of those impossible questions, I suppose.
I
yeah.
think though that when Tony brought up Vince Carter, he's right, and then I brought up Kawhi Leonard. These are it just goes to show that it's not about as much the market. Remember that trifecta I talked about: market, history, star power. It's about
Mm,
star power number one in the NBA. And it's not in baseball. I think in baseball, history and when you're an original franchise, for example, or a historical franchise, that counts more in many cases than like they're gonna maybe want to show the Cubs. People are gonna tune in to watch the Cubs, even if the Cubs are mediocre compared to or not as good as the Brewers, let's say. They're gonna tune in for the Cubs much more than the Brewers, even if the Brewers are the top seed rampaging through the NL. But in basketball, it's about stars. So when we had Kawhi, when we had Vince, these guys are box office without a doubt, absolutely dominant players, or absolutely dominant at least in the entertainment part of the game. And so we got a lot of primetime American viewership because that's what they want. That's what we want. But maybe Lowry and DeRozan weren't as box office, so to speak, as those guys were. And imagine like the Raptors selected Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he played for us his whole career. Every
mm.
single year, I guarantee you, the Raptors would be getting a ton of primetime games in the United States. Him, Shea, Jokic, any of these guys. So it's about the star more than it is about the country or the city.
And it's not even a fair fight. The NBA, I don't know if they purposely do it on themselves or is it just these guys are just so marketable and just you get a pick of the litter in the NBA over who you can watch, who you can showcase. It really is, a treasure chest of marketable players, whether you like them or not. Um, and it's a global thing too, right? They attract globally where, other than Shohei Ohtani, I don't know how many baseball players connect around the world uh, in all countries. Not, I know, I'm sure Aaron Judge connects in Japan or Korea where they play
Sure.
baseball. But is it a global thing? Same with football players, obviously hockey players. Um, Unfortunately, as great as they are as athletes and competitors, they're not on that level. the NBA just has the luck of having a whole bunch of guys where they can just throw on TV, and it doesn't matter who's playing who, as long as this guy's playing versus this guy, they've got it made there. They really do, and it's not even a contest.
And with the Raptors, who knows what kind of season we have that the Raptors are going to have, and we are going to talk about them once again a little later in the show. But do they have that marquee player beyond Scotty Barnes that has that kind of excitement level, like a Vince Carter, like Steph Curry, jacking all those threes and such? I mean, could they potentially be like a Detroit Pistons team from 2003 when they won that championship? So I know I'm getting way ahead of ourselves talking about the Raptors being a potential champion again, but anyway, Maddie.
Matt, you got an
Yes.
update for us?
3-1. 3-1 Red Sox.
Maddie, your thoughts to this latest update?
I'm gonna be putting a video of me depressed in the baseball Discord.
Yeah.
I'll probably be fake crying and won't be able to sleep at night. But
well, people in that Discord is going to wonder why you have a Blue Jays background, but no, please let's screen capture, and people are going to ask why. It'll be more reason for them to tune into Voice of the Fans. But
you're getting that
Maddie,
screenshot. I don't know how to do
it. Maddie, who are you? Who do you think can surprise? Hey, we did brush on the fact that the Brewers have the top record in baseball. Nobody was expecting the Jays. Seattle had the kind of year that they had. Who do you think? If you had a couple of bucks to put down as a surprise World Series winner, who do you think you would? Who do you think you would choose?
Well, this wouldn't really be a surprise, but let's just say things are going the way I think they're gonna go. I wouldn't be surprised if the Philadelphia Phillies win the World Series. That's a team that's been red hot from start to finish. Like, no slumps, no cause for panic at any point in the year. The lineup is great. The pitching is better. The bullpen's still a little shaky, but I think on paper this team is a lot better than most of the teams in the playoffs right now.
No Wheeler.
No Wheeler, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Their offense carries them. Schwarber's hitting home runs like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Trey Turner's doing what he needs to do. Brandon Marsh is coming through. Harper's still being productive. Like, to me, it's the Phillies that win the World Series at this point in the year.
Interesting.
For me,
please, Neel.
Other than Toronto, I think that Seattle has just been red hot, and sort of I every time I catch a glimpse of their team, I sort of get similar vibes to the Jays as far as like the chemistry, the kind of that they're showing. They got really good pitching, I think, and the top of their lineup is beastly. Like, the Jays can't compete with that type of firepower. Where they got Raleigh, Rodriguez, and who am I forgetting here?
Randy Rosarena,
and there's another guy, but they have been pretty dominant in the second half of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they have really been dominant, and they carry themselves with some serious swagger too. So I would not be, and they avoid the bad side of the bracket as well. So I would not be surprised if they're in the World Series. I hope that perhaps it's Jays and Seattle, or that would be a great squeeze, I think.
Yeah, it'd be the first time. Be the first time Seattle makes the World Series, and hey, it'd be the class of '77. Jays and Mariners are expansion cousins, so
that's right.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to see class of '77. I mean,
you think Riley's winning MVP?
I think it's Judge. I mean, 60 home runs is great.
Let me give you a little mathematics lesson here, as someone who got a perfect score on his math portion of his SAT. So
excellent.
So Judge finished 84 batting average points more than Raleigh. While Judge hit 7 less home runs and I think 20-something less RBIs, he's leading in every other category in Major League Baseball except for home runs and RBIs. And 330 batting average, 331 to be exact, is significantly better than a 247 batting average. And yes, I will give Cal Raleigh credit. He came out of nowhere this year, but I think there's also the other aspect of it where, Judge is 33. Cal Raleigh's still a youngster. And Judge is still performing at a high level. Also, the torpedo bat has to come into play because Cal Raleigh uses torpedo bats to hit home runs.
They did not ban the torpedo bat?
No, they didn't ban him.
Oh, okay.
What about the other side of the ball when they're in the field? What about defense? Because
Judge's fielding percentage is better than Cal Raleigh's. His WAR is better than Cal Raleigh's. The defensive metrics, like runs above her plate, like they're all better than Raleigh by a country mile.
I mean, if you're factoring position and defense, then maybe you'd have to give it to Raleigh, right, Maddie? Because being a catcher, yeah. I mean, because I'm thinking it's Aaron Judge. I think the big difference is batting average. 285, 289 average for Cal Raleigh. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at.
247, not even 289, 247.
I got 289 here. Okay. 240. Okay, 247. I mean, that's pathetic. I mean, okay, yeah, sure, you could jack him out. And Aaron Judge has a 330. 331. So that alone, I think, is the difference maker. I mean, home runs is fantastic, but I mean, if you're
speak of the devil, who's up to bat?
Okay. So Maddie, Maddie, go ahead. Why don't you take a small break? You deserve it.
Thank you, guys.
But yeah. Well, I check in shortly with you. But Tony, before we tie a bow on baseball, of course, nobody saw this happening. The Jays got a first round bye. How much of a disappointment would it have been if they did have to play in the wild card? Let's say that they don't make it out of the divisional series. Are you of the opinion that this is house money and the team and fans should be happy for just being there in the first place when they weren't expecting it? Or do you think that this would be a disappointment if the Jays don't make it out of the DS?
I wouldn't be disappointed because I do think they're playing with house money, but I sure hope they don't fucking feel that way so they can, But to Matt's point earlier in the show, playing without that pressure might be the way this team has managed to excel like this, right? So maybe them thinking that way might be helping them come playoff time when they do face the Red Sox in the next round. Just kidding. Still a lot of baseball left to play. And but I do believe they're playing with house money. Who expected this? Nobody expected this to happen. So it would be nice to see them win a playoff series with this core. They're starting to look like the Leaf core if they're unable to do it. But I do think they are.
Oh, Maddie's gonna like that.
Yeah, Randy's not going to like that. I got to tell you, because I would be disappointed, because and Tony, I completely agree with what you're saying, and they are playing with house money, but I don't know. I mean, they're already here. You could appreciate, being there and so on, and that it would, it'd be such a disappointment if they say got swept or. But I think
sure. Well, yeah. I mean, it's on them at this point. As long as they're not looking at it that way, then as long as they're not looking at it that way, then they should be fine. Woo.
Oh, Matt's enjoying this game right now. High pressure.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay, Maddie, because I don't know what's going on when you do have a moment to talk. Actually, Neel, do you want to fill me in on Matt's?
I'm seeing 0 outs, bottom of the 9th, 2 on base.
Don't say a word. Don't say
a word. Okay, yeah, okay. Maddie, if you need to mute your microphone so you don't hear Neil's play-by-play, by all means, okay?
Sorry about that,
But,
Matt.
yeah, no, you would think that. No, Matty is watching it. I guess he doesn't want to. Hey, Matty, if you want to.
Look at Matt's face right now.
Look at Matt's face. Okay. And
Live.
that does not look like a face of joy. Now he's frozen. And okay. But
We got
Matty,
we got bases loaded, no outs.
hang in there, buddy. Matty, hang in there. We did lose Tony. I'm sure Tony will join us back in a second. Neel, why don't we go? Oh, we got Tony back here. Sorry about that, Tony.
Sorry. I think it's my. I think it was my Wi-Fi.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Don't say a word. No, we're good, Matty.
Live.
Matty, you're beautiful for joining us regardless. With all with your, Tony. As Matty is doing his thing there, be remiss, and you actually did point it out to me in our chat that Kirill Kaprizov has re-signed with the Minnesota Wild to the tune of 8 years, $136 million. And for a team like Minnesota, who has Kaprizov and essentially no one else, is that fair to say? What are your thoughts on this contract? I mean, would it have been the end of the world if Minnesota did not re-sign him? Because they just seem to have backed themselves into a corner like they did with Suter and Weber all those years ago.
Well, they weren't forced to make the Suter and Weber deals. They were free agents, and they went out and got them and gave them like 13-year deals. But in terms of hockey, it's a massive deal. If he's worth he's had a stellar career so far in a short time. He is one of the best players in hockey. But you look at a $17 million a year salary in hockey, and we're sitting here saying, "Oh my God, that's so high. That's crazy."
Mm-hmm.
What do you think Connor McDavid will be worth? And meanwhile, in Major League Baseball, Shohei Ohtani makes $70 million a year.
Shay's making over 70 million, isn't he, Neel?
Yeah, he is about to be.
He's going to 70, so he's going to take over Jason Tatum, who, according to my list, at 62 is the highest. Dak Prescott, 60 a year, which is insane. If Kirill Kaprizov was playing Major League Baseball, he'd be tied for 91st in salary. He'd be 103rd in the NBA in salary, and he'd be tied for 159th in the NFL. So I know we can't compare it because hockey is just different in terms of revenue, but I think it was a deal that was necessary for the Minnesota Wild. It's been a tough go for that franchise the last few years, and I think Bill Guerin's done a really good job. He's had to get himself out of bad contracts, get that cap in order, and now he's got the luxury of the cap going up a little bit. He's got some dead cap money that is slowly coming off the books, and they've still been able to compete. So I think it was an impressive move by Bill Guerin to get this deal done, and what he's been able to do with the hockey team despite a lot of the cap hell he's been in since he took the job a few years ago. So good for him.
Yeah, it has been bad contracts in Minnesota, sure. But, Tony, I don't know if you've caught Overdrive. The emphasis seems to be that Minnesota is not a destination. And I don't know if I agree with that in terms of hockey, especially from...
I disagree.
Oh, we got Tony is frozen. We'll get Tony back in a second. And perhaps we could just circle back on the Kaprizov signing and Minnesota as a hockey town. But guys, why don't we make our way over to the NFL? And Neel, you are a Bills fan. I have certainly caught the fever of Bills Mafia, Bills Nation. But obviously the Bills are 4-0. but they did play teams that are not overly challenging with regards to the Jets and the Dolphins, the Saints. I don't know if you want to say that the Dolphins were a challenge at all, but Neel, with regards to the Bills, like how misleading is that 4-0 start in your opinion?
I don't put too much stock in it, to be quite honest, because I'm at the point, and I'm sure Tony would echo this sentiment, that we're at the point where, and Bills Mafia as a whole, is that we know that our team is loaded. And whether their record is 14-2, 14-3 rather, 13-4, 15-2, 16-1, it really doesn't matter to me, because it's all about what happens in January. And, it all about what happens if we run into Mr. Mahomes once again, our dynamite, our kryptonite, rather, our LeBronto in the NFL kind of guy, And so, but I do think that what I loved is that comeback over the Baltimore Ravens. I thought that just showed incredible poise, character, fight. And those are things you want, because if you're in a dire situation in the playoffs, you've already been in as much as a regular season game can come close to what playoff atmosphere will be like. It's going to be between two excellent teams in prime time. And so the way we came back in that game, the defense forcing that fumble on Henry, Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things, I really thought that was a really good. And then we played three bad teams, and we did what we were supposed to do. I think we got a little lackadaisical against the Saints. It's going to happen in the season when you don't really respect your opponent and you think you're just going to stomp all over them. That opponent's going to come and show you a couple things and maybe put some points on the board. And it's just part of the long season. So I don't put too much stock in it. I think the Bills are better than they've ever been, quite frankly, maybe since at least in this century. And we're healthy. James Cook is taking another step, sort of becoming a dominant running back, not just a dominant guy. He started that process last year. He's continuing it. Josh Allen is again an MVP favorite at this point. Our defense is playing reasonably well. There's still a few things we can do better. Yeah, it's pretty meh, the defense. Well, yeah, it is actually. We let 40. Anyways. Tony's sound effects notwithstanding, but I think it's a long season. I think we're in good shape, and just got to stay healthy. That's it.
Tony, I'd love to get your still hear your thoughts on Minnesota and as a hockey market. But are you in agreement with what Neel said there for what you did catch?
Yes, of course, 100%. I do not trust their defense. I know there's some injuries. Just they give up a lot in the run game. It's very easily, it just seems to me, and they're making some really bad offenses look good to begin this season. But having said that, it's a whole season. Adjustments are made, improvements are made. I think they're a well-coached team, obviously, and just focus on getting your home field advantage, and the playoffs is where it matters, right? And that's where we are with the Bills. So I agree 100% with what he's saying.
Yeah, we could get past Minnesota and the hockey part. Tony, I did want to ask you. I got to tell you, and Tony has known me over 20 years. He knows that me and music don't really go hand in hand. Like I don't really follow music that much, and I don't know anything about Bad Bunny. He was named as the halftime show performer. With the halftime show, if I don't have to go to the washroom or get another beer, like I'm kind of indifferent. It's kind of funny. I mean, like the beyond the one performance with Dr. Dre and Snoop and Eminem. That one, I thought the Shakira Jennifer Lopez show was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I'm, straight. But Tony, like, what do you think about Bad Bunny performing? I don't know a thing about this guy. I got to tell you.
Look, it's a horrible choice. It's a horrible
Okay.
choice. And unfortunately, we live in this climate today where you kind of have to look at things politically because well, that's just the way they're making us look things, right? And it's just a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, a quote came out from him saying, explaining why he didn't have any U.S. dates for his tour, and it was some typical unhinged, stupid comment about ICE coming into his arenas or whatever the fuck, and picking him up in the middle of in the middle of a concert, deporting him and a bunch of his fans. It's something to that extent. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, and I might be being a little dramatic, but that's how stupid these people get.
Okay.
But that's how stupid these people get sometimes when they try to be political and not entertain you. So fast forward to a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I'm sitting scrolling through Instagram during a commercial break of the Bills game and see that he's been announced as the performer for halftime. And under normal circumstances, I could care less because I'm like you. Like you have the option to switch the channel off, go take a piss, go outside, throw the football around with your buddies, something like that, whatever. But I can't help but think, was this choice made? And are we going to watch, a political show where it's anti-Trump, anti-ICE, you know, type of show now being performed in Spanish by a guy wearing a dress? It's just, you can't help but ask those questions now. So it completely takes it out of, oh, he's a talented guy, popular music, people love him. So I have no choice but to say it's a horrible pick, right? For that reason. I don't mind Bad Bunny. I don't care for what he believes in outside of his music, but my fiance and I like Spanish music. If Bad Bunny
Okay.
song is on, we're bopping around, we're bouncing to the beat, we're getting
Okay.
jiggy with it. It's not a big deal. And under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be a big deal, but it kind of is now, and it's causing rage and the make believe world of social media. So it's something you have to discuss, unfortunately or fortunately. Um, but I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is behind it, to be honest with you. This was a kind of year where there's a lot of hot. Now, I did hear reports that Taylor Swift was making some demands that didn't jive with Jay-Z, who's in charge of picking the Super Bowl halftime performers now. So
Oh,
there's
really?
another.
Jay-Z's got that kind of clout these days? I had no
Oh yeah,
idea.
he was given the reins back in 2019. So
Really?
there's a lot behind it, and I don't want to belabor the subject. But the bottom line is that you can't help but think of those things now when these types of choices are made. I don't care that he sings in Spanish. I know a lot of people are making a big deal about that. But you could also look at it from this perspective, where the NFL is, trying to attract different audience, right?
Hmm.
And that's one way to do it. You can attract more. You got us, unless we choose to boycott the game for some reason because Bad Bunny, you got us, and like when we
Who,
talked
as
about
Canadians? As Canadian, I mean,
no, us
like.
guys as football fans,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
you got
Yeah.
us. We're gonna watch the game. We might not watch the halftime show, but who gives a
Right.
shit, right? It's just like when we spoke about remember the Justin Bieber inspired Leaf jerseys that came out a few years ago, and we were
I
talking
remember the
about those
jerseys. Yeah.
on one of your episodes. You brought it up and you were asking me how I felt about it. And it's kind of the same way. Like I'm a almost 50-year-old white guy, so that who's straight and is a Christian and believes in good old fashioned family values. But so it's not for me. They're not putting that halftime show on for me, right? So I can't be completely triggered by it. I understand who they're trying to attract, a different
Right.
type of audience, right? So it's part business, it's part politics. I hope I'm
Right.
wrong, but I have a feeling it's going to be like an anti-Christian, anti-Trump, anti-ICE drag show that's going to happen during that halftime show. And I'm not going to stick around and watch it, but I mean, we're exposed to social media enough to know that those things will be pointed out. So I know it's long-winded, but that's my answer to that. It's a horrible decision, but at the same time, not for me. So what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Can I add on to that?
Please, Maddie.
All right, first off, Yankees lost. That's the first thing I want to get out of the way.
My our sympathies, buddy. You doing okay?
Second thing I want to say, to add on to Tony's point about the halftime show, though, like, when Bad Bunny was announced, I'm gonna emphasize Tony's point. They are trying to reach out to the Hispanic demographic. They're trying to appeal to a demographic
Okay.
that the NFL is lacking, and I
Nothing
think
wrong
that's
with that.
a bold marketing move for sure. But to the American public, to the naked eye, Bad Bunny, his music is all Spanish. And another reason why they chose Bad Bunny was because he's the most streamed artist in the world. He's got over 100 billion streamers across the country, across the world.
Okay.
But it just doesn't make sense to the American eye where I'm going to listen to a guy sing in Spanish and I'm not going to know what's going on. And that's the simple part of it that I can say. Now, from a certain other perspective, this past year's halftime show, when they had Kendrick Lamar do the halftime show, it wasn't really a performance. It was really more a diss towards Drake than anything. But this, on the other hand, is a PR move that's not gonna go well. Listen, I love Bad Bunny as a person. He was great in Happy Gilmore too. But
Okay.
as far
Yes.
as like,
I forgot to mention that. Yes, I watched it on the airplane.
I still have to watch that.
On my flight back from Toronto, and the first thing that stuck out was he played that role beautifully.
he did.
Sorry,
But like,
it was fun.
he was great. He was great in Happy Gilmore too. He's popular. He's a former WWE wrestler. He's the most streamed artist in the world. But I'm not gonna understand what he's saying when he performs. Now, maybe there might be some theatrics or some, flippy tricks or whatever that happen in the halftime show that make it appealing. But as far as like understanding the music and the words that he's saying, it's not going to make sense to me because I don't speak Spanish fluently.
Okay, yeah, sure. But to play devil's advocate here, Maddie, why does the NFL need to cater to the American viewing public? I mean, what exactly has to happen for Americans not to watch the Super Bowl? I mean, please appreciate that I'm playing devil's advocate.
But it's a good point. It's a good point that you brought up.
Yeah, because halftime show is in Spanish. So for 15 minutes, your fellow countrymen will go grab a beer and scroll on the phone or whatever, take a piss, and then they'll come back and watch the show. I mean,
I think sorry to jump in, but I think the problem is in the long run, overall, in the long run, if you continue to alienate a great majority of your fan base, it'll come back to haunt you eventually, right? It might not happen now. I just look at Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert as examples. There's been a slow,
fair enough.
There's been a slow decline in, first of all, their ability to be funny, but most importantly is the size of their audience has dwindled tremendously. And when you compare it to the days when we grew up watching Carson or Leno or Letterman, you're talking about 10, 20 million people a night watching the show. That could hurt in the long run. I'm not sure if it's going to happen right away, but if you continue to alienate half of your audience, maybe even more than half of your audience,
maybe 60%,
where is it going to go? Now, I know the NFL is trying to expand worldwide. Obviously, they keep putting games in Brazil. They put a game in Dublin for the first time this season. Munich. I know they're trying to grow the game globally, but even in some of those countries, is that the answer? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think it's a great business decision. Might affect you in the long run, but the NFL is almost Teflon anyway, so they might as well go for it. It's hard to lose football fans, right? So
yeah, and I want to stick with this topic actually, because Tony, I think the difference with Carson and Letterman was that this was essentially before the real explosion of social media and YouTube. And I don't know if you're really alienating fans per se by a halftime show. Uh, Now, I don't know if this is logistically feasible, but I don't really understand why you're taking away a home date for an NFL team to play overseas. Aren't they able to, just work the game? Let's say it was in Brazil, and let's say who played in Brazil just recently?
The
Chargers and the Chiefs.
Packers and
Chiefs.
somebody.
Chargers
Parkers and
Chiefs.
Chargers and Chiefs.
Chargers and the Chiefs. So couldn't they figure out a way that both teams would lose a road game instead of a home game? Now, who knows? Maybe whoever the home team was for that Brazil game would get more money because they are playing in a bigger stadium. Like, I could appreciate that the money per ticket might be a little bit cheaper than
Right.
if the Chiefs were in Kansas City. But I mean, for the rest of the season, like the regular season up to the playoffs, Tony, are fans really going to walk away from the NFL because of decisions, say, of Bad Bunny? I was having this discussion with Maddie a number of months ago.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that, I don't know about Tom Brady or maybe even Patrick Mahomes, but Josh Allen, I'm pretty sure, could walk through the streets of Paris and not get recognized.
Yes.
And London
Yes.
and Munich and Sydney, Australia. And of course, the NFL is just so leaps and bounds ahead in the American sports landscape. But in the world, it's nowhere close. And I do think that they should bring a global aspect to football. What do you think?
You could bring whoever you want. It's your choice. It's just my fear is that if it turns into a political statement, that's when things can go south. And it's not just about losing fans. It's sometimes sponsors might put pressure on. Sometimes the owners might get together and say, "Hey, come on, what are we doing here? Let's just play. Let's just play the game, right?" Those are the areas where you start to think about alienating fans or what have you. Pick whoever you want, right? But this is why they're trying to grow the game globally. They want Josh Allen to be recognized in Paris. So maybe they think Bad Bunny can help get that done. I have no idea.
I think it's political motivations aside, as Tony's saying, I think it speaks to what the Super Bowl is. The Super Bowl is not the regular NFL. It's not even the regular playoffs. This is a massive event that is on the scale of something that's way bigger than even the AFC NFC championship games. This is a worldwide event streamed in 200 plus countries.
Yes.
Way more than any other playoff game, championship, conference championship game, whatever. It's a whole beast in and of itself. And so when you're talking about picking a halftime show, look, owners, they don't. You know what they care about more than politics? Money. You know what the NFL cares about more than any of this stuff? Money. And what brings money? Ratings. Ratings bring viewership. Ratings bring attention. Ratings bring fans, or correlate with fans, anyways. And the other thing is that the halftime show, I know for sure for me, is I never really pay attention to the halftime show. I watch it,
Right.
but that's my time to get another beer, talk about the first half with my buddies if I'm watching the game with them. But my wife loves the halftime shows. She looks forward to the halftime show more than she does the game. She'll watch the Super Bowl with me every single year, but she's really excited in some cases, especially when she's a fan of the performer, for the halftime show, the spectacle of it. What are they going to do different this year? And so I think a lot of people are like that. That casual fan wants to watch a good halftime show, and a lot of these casual fans, they like Bad Bunny or they like Dr. Dre. And let me tell you this. There's a lot of cities in the NFL, they're not too excited about Dr. Dre and 50 Cent in the halftime show either.
Yeah, but Neel, for allow me to jump in here because if I'm the NFL, what do I care if your wife likes the halftime show? Because I mean, your wife for the rest of the other weeks of the regular season and the playoffs, she's not paying attention to it. Like so many people in my family are the same thing. Halftime show, that's it. I mean, your wife won't buy that jersey. That segment of people like your wife who really enjoy the halftime show and will watch the Super Bowl. I mean, they are like, it's just a mirage, wouldn't you say? Because I mean, how many extra homes are watching the Super Bowl for solely the halftime show? I'm thinking it's like
no. I think that it just adds to the overall spectacle of the event, and it adds the unique element of having a massive concert for 15, 20 minutes. It's an extended halftime in the Super Bowl as well compared to every other playoff game. It's a half an hour halftime show. It might even be 45 minutes. I mean, I've thought about the effect it has on the game itself. The guys coming out cold in the second half. Is there that element of it? It's a whole different beast than anything else. But my opinion is that the halftime show is solely for getting eyeballs on the screen, and they already got the eyeballs of the football fan. They're not worried about those people. They're not worried about us. We're going to watch the game, even if it's Gallagher shooting a watermelon at halftime. We're down,
Absolutely.
Or if it's Carrot Top at halftime, we don't care. We're there for the first half and the second half, and whatever happens in between is just us getting another beer and getting our wings ready, but it's to draw in the casual fan, that element of things, and whatever formula they've put out there, they've decided that Bad Bunny is going to make them the most money. Taylor Swift declined, and Bad Bunny was next up.
Right.
And that's the money talks, bullshit walks. And
if anything, you brought up Taylor Swift for a second. That probably would have been a smarter move for the casual fan than Bad Bunny, because number one, Taylor Swift is one of the most popular stars in the country.
They offered it to her, and she declined.
The world. What?
She declined.
Well, let's say she didn't decline. Let's just say, for instance, she accepted it. She made a bunch of money off the Eras Tour, which spanned hundreds of different countries. That's number one. Number two, she's getting engaged to one of the biggest stars in the NFL, and Travis Kelce. Like, for instance, ever since the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce thing became public, the Kansas City Chiefs have gotten a lot of attention. The NFL has gotten a lot of attention, and what better way to award the ratings and the bump up in viewership than giving Taylor Swift the honor of performing that touchdown? Now, like you said, she declined, but let's just say she didn't. It would have made a lot of sense because a lot of people know Taylor Swift. They know her music. They know who she is. They know her personal stuff. Like, it would have been smart, and people would have understood the music. Bad Bunny, while I appreciate him, it's a different type of marketing tactic. And like I said, I applaud the NFL for what they're doing, but I just don't know how it's going to work. Now, if they were left with that one choice and they decided to go with it, you know what? Good for them. Roll with it.
Yeah, and every time they showed Chiefs games last season, the amount of times that they'd cut to Taylor Swift
to her,
in the booth. Let me tell you, if the NFL did not want that to happen, that would not have happened. They were pushing for that to happen. So they're trying to intersect popular culture with sports, and the NFL is doing their best to take whatever they can out of popular culture, sequester, if you were, everything that they can from other segments of society, and to get people to watch football. Because, like Tony said, the diehard football fans, the people who love the game, are not going to stop watching. But everyone else, there's a huge amount of growth that is still possible for the biggest league in the world at this point.
Right.
When they want every bit of it.
True.
Those owners are very greedy. They don't get satiated very easily. Their tummies are ready for more at all times. Okay.
Right. That's a good point.
Gluttony Gluttony is what? Is that one of the?
It's one of the deadly sins. Yeah. Tony, did you have an
to?
additional comment to this?
Yeah, it's like me and a bag of chips once this show's done. But no, you know what? I got this feeling that it's going to become a political thing, which is why I'm not happy about it. I just feel, and with the temperature being where we're at, given the events over the last couple of weeks, I just think it was ill-timed. I just get this feeling, but maybe it's just.
Hey, but Tony, Tony, let me ask you a question. Are you going
Yeah.
to not? Are you going to not watch the halftime show, or are you going to watch it and be interested in what type of political fallout there might come of it? Isn't that an
That's
interesting
interesting.
storyline to you too?
Oh, 100%. I'm gonna.
So there you go. So regardless of what
see what
side
it
of the
does.
aisle you're on, the entertainment factor exists on both sides.
Yeah, just
The
like
bottom-
last
the
year,
bottom
I
line
had
is you're
no
getting
interest in
attention.
I had no interest in Kendrick Lamar. I've never heard a song from start to finish, but
Yeah.
obviously I was sitting there waiting to see if he was gonna diss Drake, right? And yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not stupid. Like, I get it, but I just hope it doesn't work out that way. But I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. Honestly, I'm not sure if I am gonna watch it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna just sit there and say, yeah, let's watch this.
Yeah.
Maybe I could boycott the halftime show instead of boycotting the whole game. Which
Hey,
I
person,
Just
Can
drink,
you
just
imagine
drink 3 or 4
boycotting the
beers,
game
you'll
when
be
the Bills
fine.
are in? Can you
Yeah.
imagine boycotting the game when the Bills are in?
Oh man, Tony, like
No thanks.
$1 million. Like, okay, no. Let's 10 grand, 10 grand to your wallet. Bills are in the Super Bowl, but the only thing is that you can't watch it live. 10 grand.
10 grand. Nah, you're gonna have to give me more than that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to give me more than that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Ah,
Fair enough.
I've got nothing else to add to this.
Well, no, you know what?
It's an interesting topic, though, right?
And I'm surprised that Bad Bunny, we went like a good half an hour talking about Bad Bunny. That's fantastic.
Well, here's the
You
thing.
know,
that's all part of the NFL's plan, Randy.
It is,
and-
no, for sure.
And I'm
100%.
telling you, spend as much time as possible on social media over the next few months, and you see what kind of chaos there's going to be over this thing. I promise you, it's already starting.
Oh, for sure.
I sent you some of Jason Whitlock's clips, and he's actually at the forefront right now. He's very anti this decision, but yeah, it's but social media is what it is. We all know that it's not real world, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
no,
not real world, but
and Tony, I do want to bring this up because this is an issue. Do you think Jason will? Okay, you know what? He may be devout and all that stuff, and yeah, I did watch the video that you did send me, but isn't this kind of what we were talking about last week with Maddie, and that Jason Whitlock is just trying to capture attention for himself regarding this issue? Like,
yeah, no,
you know what I'm getting at here?
Yeah.
I think a lot of what he's doing right now is a stretch. I think his conspiracy theory on why this decision was made, I think it's a bit of a stretch. However, I do believe there is an attack on Christianity. I 100% believe
Okay.
that. Do I think
Okay.
this move was inspired by that? I'm not ready to go into the weeds there, but I think you have to see every side of what somebody's thinking, what somebody's saying. You can pick out some things that, yeah, I can see that, and of course, yeah, for sure, he is trying to attract attention. I mean, 100%. These guys are, they're content creators. That's part of their jobs, for fuck's sakes.
He's the Alex Jones of the sports world.
Well, yeah, and again, we went way long.
Yeah.
Not so much way long, but I mean, no. Sorry, what? I mean, that was such a great
A good
chat.
amount of time.
Yeah, no, a good amount of time, but it was a great chat. I mean, NBA is in about 3 weeks. Why don't we save that for another day? It is getting late. How about we get into some straight facts, bro? Relax. Final segment of the show is upon us, and Tony, the much anticipated Packers Dallas Cowboys game ended in a 40-40 tie, and we, of course, were in love with hockey at a time when they did have ties, and of course, you being a soccer fan, a tie, a draw is very commonplace, but. Doesn't it leave a sour taste in the mouth of football fans to have a game end in a draw? I mean, there's only 17 games in a season. Let's say that a team does end up with 3 ties. What are you going to do there? I don't know if something has to be done, but Tony, the NFL will get rid of ties before the start of next season. Straight facts, bro. Relax.
I'll say, bro, relax. I mean, if it was something that happened often, sure. Is there an opportunity for a discussion to think about ways to not have it happen? Absolutely. Do I think it'll happen next year? No, I say, bro, relax. And if you want to have that discussion, what are the ideas? What are the ideas? You gonna have a kickoff? Keep going backwards?
I don't know. I mean, Neel and Matt are. Yeah, guys, you want to chime in?
See, I'm straight facts. The NFL will get rid of overtime ties and eventually because, see, here's the thing: the NFL is the only professional sports league.
By next year was the question. By next year?
By next year, yeah, they'll get rid of my next year. Here's why.
You think so? Okay.
I think so. Here's why. Because the NFL is the only sport professionally, like of the core 4, that actually allows ties. The NFL, the NBA, they go into as many overtimes as they want till decide a winner. NHL, they go to overtime and then they have shootouts if things don't go, if they're still tied by the overtime period. And then same thing with baseball, they'll go into extra innings and they'll have the ghost runner in second to speed things up if things are still tied. The NFL having ties, it's deflating. Like you don't know how to feel about it. You don't know how if you could draw any positives or negatives from it. That's and like Micah Parsons who in that Cowboys Packers game was so unsatisfied because he didn't win, but he also didn't lose. Now, in my opinion, if you want to declare a winner, you should have the 10-minute overtime period and then go into sudden death. One thing that I love is the college football overtime rule. You have as many overtimes as you want until a winner is decided. And after 2 overtimes, you go into a 2-point conversion contest until there's a winner. That's the name of the game. Just decide a winner. And I feel like ties are just not cutting the mustard. You leave discontent. You don't feel like you accomplished anything. You just feel like you're not pleased, but you're not depressed either.
Could they perhaps remove a couple of players from the field of play?
Kind of like in NHL when it's 3-on-3.
Yeah. I don't know. Could that potentially work? Open up the field a little bit, air out the ball. That might be an idea.
There's a possibility there. It's interesting to see what they can do moving forward.
Yeah. Maddie, I'm wondering what your thoughts on Daniel Jones' start to the season. I mean, hey, he's been ripping it with the Indianapolis Colts. Who had seen this coming? A little change of scenery sometimes does athletes a world of good, and the Colts are riding this wave of Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. My goodness, I mean, it just goes that it just fits very nicely. Maddie, Daniel Jones will earn as high as second place in MVP voting this season. Straight facts, bro. Relax.
Bro, relax. No hesitation. Bro, relax. Here's why. I think Daniel Jones has had an incredible start to the year, but as far as who's outperforming him, while Justin Herbert of the Chargers up until the Sunday game was doing fantastic. But they're going to give it to the big name stars unless Daniel Jones throws for 60 touchdown passes, which I can't see him doing. There's no way in hell he's going to finish that tie on the MVP list. He'll definitely be in consideration for comeback player of the year because this guy was dead to rights for a long time up until he came to the Colts. But MVP, second place, ooh, bro, relax.
Can I jump in for a second? Just quickly.
Please.
Are you starting to think it's a New York thing here? Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold,
Don't mention this.
Geno Smith. Hell, even Aaron Rodgers. We'll throw in Aaron in the mix too. What's going on? Jesus Christ, Chad Pennington goes to Miami and he becomes a Pro Bowler. What the hell's going on? When quarterbacks leave New York, for some reason it becomes a good thing. Eli Manning notwithstanding.
You want to know what it is, man? It's the fact that New York provides a lot of pressure on players to perform well because of the market and because of the history of New York sports. And if you don't live up to expectations, the fans will boo you out. And then when you go somewhere else, you won't feel as obligated to feel pressured. That's exactly what's happening.
I think the Jets are just a trash organization.
Yeah,
and the Giants organization is trash. But yeah,
the Giants. Well,
although I do got to give them some slack because their owner does have cancer. But
okay.
I think maybe Daboll's not really as good a coach as we thought he was.
Yeah, this first year he was great, and then we kind of saw the cracks.
Well, sorry, Neel, you were about to chime in?
Well, I just think, when you talk about Daniel Jones, we've seen the story play out with a lot of different players. I'm not going to name them off the top of my head, but a change of situation in the NFL is the most drastic change of situation one can have in sports. If you change baseball teams, if you change basketball teams, if you change any hockey even, you're going to another team that essentially in many ways has the same components, but in the NFL, it's really like 4 or 5 or 6 different teams that all have to come together at one. The offensive line, the defensive line, the secondary, the skill positions, the special teams. And if you play for a franchise as a quarterback that does not invest in your offensive line, for example, and then you go to a team that suddenly has a great offensive line history, there are teams that play a certain way. Like, for example, the Pittsburgh Steelers, their bread and butter for many, many years has been an excellent defense, a neutral offense that won't fuck it up for the defense. And they never invest in their offensive line. Look at the Houston Texans right now. They have one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And look at what C.J. Stroud was as a rookie, and now he's taken huge regression steps every year, and part of that is not him. Maybe some of it is. A lot of it has to do with that they don't know how to protect him. They never knew how to protect Daniel Jones that well in New York. Indiana's got a much better offensive line than whatever he has ever had in New York, and that is a huge factor when you maybe are not an elite quarterback. You can't see the field the way Aaron Rodgers does or the way Patrick Mahomes does or even Josh Allen with his mobility. And Daniel Jones has mobility too, but you're caught in situations where you're just always going to be flustered much more. You're going to take more sacks. You're going to throw more interceptions. You're not going to see your playmakers as well reading the field. And to a lot of degree, your situation is what matters and what makes the big difference between you being almost out of the league to potentially a Pro Bowler. It's that drastic. And so I think it's situation and maybe some internal development on Daniel Jones's part, sure. But he's got better skill positions around him. He's got a better offensive line, and he's got better coaching. And to a quarterback, that's going to make a huge, huge difference.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Matt Castle had a Pro Bowl year that year Tom Brady went down. And this was like
he had a Pro Bowl year with Kansas City, I think, too. He might have.
He did. He was a Pro Bowl at Kansas City. He was an alternate for the Pro Bowl the year he replaced Brady.
Right. And
well, look at Alex Smith. Alex Smith is another one. He started with the 49ers, and as soon as he goes to Kansas City, he all of a sudden becomes a pretty good quarterback. And there's a lot of guys like this. Look at Brett Favre too. Brett Favre went to the Jets as well. Had a horrible stinker of a year. Immediately goes to the Vikings and turns back the clock. And now Aaron Rodgers is looking a lot better than he ever did in New York. He's looking closer to his last year in Green Bay, where he wasn't that MVP candidate, but he was a serviceable guy, and he's doing that for Pittsburgh right now. So it's all about situation in the NFL, much more than it is any other league and probably any other sport in the world.
Baker Mayfield,
great example right there. Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, you mentioned it already. Geno Smith, there's a lot of guys.
Yeah,
for sure. Finally, Neel, of course, you and I did take to the links a couple of weeks ago, had a wonderful time, and it was one heck of a Ryder Cup that took place in Maddie's neighborhood at Bethpage. Team Europe did win, and there was quite a big stir with regards to Rory McIlroy. And Neel, I don't know if you recall the instance McIlroy had a number of years ago with Patrick Reed. McIlroy jarred a long putt, and he was woofing up the fans. It was in the States, and Patrick Reed came back with to have the hole, and he was finger wagging as if he was Dikembe Mutombo. It was fantastic stuff. It seems that a lot of American fans were really giving it to McIlroy. There was a really unfortunate incident where a fan threw a beer can in the direction of McIlroy's wife. McIlroy did say F off to those American fans. And you wonder if fans are going to remember what took place at Bethpage. Neel, Rory McIlroy will be public enemy number one when the PGA season starts up again in the springtime. Straight facts, bro, relax.
Straight facts, I think, because, let me tell you, to even reach the status of public enemy number one in any sport, you have to be a great player. They're not going to give any scrub public enemy number one or public hero number one for that matter. You got to be great. Either way, you're going to take one of those roles. Look at LeBron. He was publicly enemy number one for a lot of years in the NBA, especially when he went to Miami. You could look at other sports. I'm not sure who I would say in hockey that fit that bill, or even football. But
Connor McDavid, or no, not Connor McDavid. Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky, was he public enemy number one when he went to LA? He's too likable. He's too likable.
Brad Marchand, maybe.
Yeah, there's guys out there like maybe I don't know, but in any case, to be a public enemy number one across an entire sport, you have to be a great player, in my opinion, in most cases. And Rory is a great player, and I think that he deserves the respect of every person. And I think Americans in particular, they are going to try to get under your skin as a competitive tactic. And I think it certainly the beer can to the wife, that's going too hard, but. And I thought, I don't usually watch the Ryder Cup. I watch all the majors in golf, but I don't usually follow the Ryder Cup each year. And is it usually like this? Because the fans were going crazy.
It gets pretty intense.
They're all beer, like chugging beers, chugging them. It almost felt like they're tailgating instead of watching golf in like a classy fashion, like one would at the Masters. So it was. I think it's cool. Maybe golf needs a little bit of excitement, but certainly from everything I've read and seen, Rory's already public enemy number one. He doesn't need to earn that title. He's there. And I think the Ryder Cup it's in Ireland in a couple of years. So we'll see how those Irish fans come around and, treat some of these American players. We'll see.
It really is. It really is great theater. Please, Maddie.
Here's my question about the Rory McIlroy thing really quick. People wanted Rory McIlroy to win the Masters a few months ago because it was the one major championship he has not won yet. And then he did, and the crowd went crazy. So I don't understand this perception of because remember, when Tiger Woods won all those championships just like that, people loved him for it. Rory McIlroy, you would think that him finally accomplishing the career Grand Slam, you'd figure that people would actually respect him. I wouldn't think he'd be public enemy number one.
I think the difference is though, Maddie, is because McElroy is very, very outspoken, and I think that he is fantastic for the game of golf. And also, it took him like a decade to win that Masters because he had won the previous 3 majors, and it just took him so long to win that final major. A lot of people didn't think it was going to happen. And McElroy is not shy, and that was not the first time that he went at it with American fans. And I mean, personally, I think he's fantastic for golf, and he does not have the dominance of Tiger Woods, but nobody ever will. And to have that kind of charisma, I think I don't think it was specifically for McElroy. It was just simply this person on the other team.
It was the leader of the non-American, of the Europeans.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I think that's what it all was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Guys, thank you so much as always. A great chat. I don't know if we're going to have a talk about Bad Bunny anytime soon, but I'm sure
we
got
to pick this one back up before the Super Bowl with Tony.
Oh, for sure.
We'll review the show after it happens. We'll do a post Super Bowl. We'll do a post Super Bowl analysis of it. All right.
Yeah, I'm really bad at.
I'll put makeup.
Will you really?
Yes.
Yeah, like maybe a black cherry lipstick, Tony.
Sure.
I think that will really, yeah.
I'm on
it. Sounds great.
Hey, but Tony, I hate to get superstitious here. Bad Bunny, BB, Buffalo Bills, BB. Are we onto something here?
Oh no!
Let me tell you something. If they win a Super Bowl, I'll tell you right now, I'll run up and down the street with a dress on. All right?
No, just
no problem.
You're gonna shave your legs for that?
Nope.
Excellent.
Chest. I'll shave
Excellent.
my chest.
Okay.
Anyway,
fair
have
enough.
a good night, guys.
Fair.
Thank you.
Perfect. For Tony Antoniou, Neel Katarey, and Matt Siriani, I'm Randy Katarey. It's Voice of the Fans Canada. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe. We will talk to you next time.